What's up everyone, Steve here again from RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7, and here I have two pretty cool products from ISDT. Now we have a smart charger here. It's a new Q6 Lite 200W 8 amp, and as you can see just from the packaging, it is really small, but it certainly does pack a punch. It's 8 amp charge rate. It's got a 2.4 inch IPS display with really nice 178 degree viewing angle, so it's really good for taking it outside. You should be able to read that screen, no worries. This charger is primarily used for smaller drone batteries and stuff like that when you're out in the field. Now next up we have the ISDT BattGO. I think it is called the BG-8S. So really cool. It's a cell voltage reader and a balancer as well. So let's get started on one of these first. Let's pick this guy. So let's quickly get in the box, and as I mentioned before, these are really tiny. Gives us a nice little screen protector there, and here are a few of the specs. When you can pause the screen there, but the working voltage 5 volt to 36 volt, input voltage 0.8 volt to 15 volt, input voltage for a 2S to 8S LiPo battery, which is 1 to 8S as well. A few other specs and pieces there. As you can see, it's got a pretty standard battery port, but one thing that this does have is it works with the new, I think it's XT60i connectors, which gives you a lot of information about the battery, but I don't have any of those, but just letting you guys know. Now let's have a look at the device itself. Like I mentioned, it's nice, it does come with a screen protector. That's pretty sweet, but here we go there. So that is the new, as you can see, that little prong there, XT60i connector. So if you have that, you can plug in your battery and find out all different parameters about your battery, which is really good to know. You don't have to just kind of plug it into the standard balance port right here. Now on this side you have a USB connector, and what you can do with this is make it a power bank for your mobile devices. It supports the Qualcomm Quick Charge 3.0, and the maximum output is 12 volts at 2 amps. You also have a standard USB port on this side as well. Now before I rip this off, what's also cool about this, it is a receiver signal test and protocol analysis. So just with your basic 3-pin plug, you can, well, this thing detects the BEC output voltage. It also can support multiple protocols, including PWM, PPM, and S-Bus. So that's pretty cool. If I can get it to work, I will definitely show you in this video. Now in this box, before I forget, there is a little lanyard, because you want to be taking this out in the field because of the size. There's a little lanyard port just there as well. Nice stuff. Sweet. Certainly does look really nice, and like I mentioned, it is very compact because you'll be taking this out in the field, especially if you're like a FPV pilot and stuff like that with heaps of small little batteries. This will be perfect. On the side here we're flanked with 3 buttons: up, menu, and down. Now basic navigation with these is short press to enter the menu setting, long press to enter the smart battery menu, and up and down obviously to choose different setting options. Okay, so let's plug a battery in here. Here I have a 4-cell 1300 milliamp hour, and you'll see there's a negative there. That's where you put your negative for your balance lead, and there we go. Gives us all the information that we need. Now as you can say, it gives us our total battery voltage at 15.34 volts. It gives us max voltage difference between each cell, as you can see, 4 MV. Tells us what the battery is, a LiPo 4S, and it gives us the maximum or the amount of charge we have left in there. Nice little fuel icon there at 44%. Now if you actually plug the battery in via the power cord, it'll give you obviously no reading of the cells, but it'll just give you the total for the battery, 15.39 volts. Now it's cool, if you have the new XT60i connector, you can actually get some other information here. So to give you your max charging, your battery circulation, the battery overcharging. It'll give you all this other information here as well, which is really cool. So unfortunately I haven't got one of those on there, but if you do have that, definitely go check that out. Here's the information here on the manual in case you guys are interested. So there we go there. Pretty cool. Nice stuff. Now to get to the main menu, all we need to do is push this center button once, and we go right to the top. When you get to the top of the menu, you'll hear that beep, and you can go to English and all these other languages here for us to choose from. Backlight, middle, low, and high. Let's leave it on high. The volume we can go off, middle, and high. System information, pretty self-explanatory there. receiver test. So this way you can do your PMW or S-bus. Oh, sorry, we'll get back to that. And where were we? Alarm, single, repeat, or off. Battery type, you can put in the battery that you are testing. Obviously we're having a LiPo. Low voltage alarm, so when you plug it in there and it's at a certain voltage, a little alarm will go off. USB charge, so like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, when you plug in your USB in here, I'll actually show that later on, you have to push start manually to activate that setting. Cells balance, now this is where you can actually balance your cells if you want. Really cool. I'm not too sure how long it will take, but at least it does have that feature. Let's try out the USB charging. So I just got a basic USB cable in there, and we'll go to the menu, USB charge. You have to start it, and there we go. My phone is charging, and it gives us a nice little readout. Pretty cool, isn't it? So what it does here, it gives us our input voltage from the battery here, gives us our max difference between each cell. It's going to give us what the battery that is charging it from and the actual percentage of the remaining battery capacity. Obviously got a little timer going on there, and on this side, which is the USB side, we have the output voltage power, 5.2 volts, the output current of 0.9 amps, and also the output power at 4.7 watt, and alarm voltage, which will be 2.9 volts per cell. So that is really cool. I'm not too sure how long that will take, but at least it does have that feature. That's quite nice. And to stop that, you have to just go back into the setting and push stop. Now this is suitable for a lot of batteries. LiHV, LiPo, Li-Fi, Li-ion, nickel metal hydride, NiCad, and so it gives you a very diverse type of battery that you want to check. Now of course another awesome feature of this, you can do some receiver testing. Now if I obviously get the receiver powered up, have just one plugged into my car, you have to power the receiver up via another battery, plug in the basic 3-wire there, gives me this, and all I need to go to is the menu, receiver tester, PWM. There we go, pretty cool. And if there we go, move my steering left and right, as you can see, it gives me that information. I'm not too sure how, wouldn't really be beneficial for me, but that's pretty cool. Now it does also give you S-bus as well, but nothing's coming up for me. I'm not too sure if I'm doing anything wrong, but it has that feature as well. Now let me know what you guys think for this BattGO cell voltage meter, USB power bank, and cell balancer. Pretty cool. Let's move on to the Q6 Lite 200W 8 amp charger. Link will be in the description for this guy and the other one. So let's go on. Let's move on. Alrighty, next up is this guy. Let's have a look in the box. Revolution starts here. Let's have a look at just some quick specs. Input voltage 7 to 3.2 volts. So I guess primarily it's mainly used for on the when you're out in the field, you want to charge batteries. You get a huge ass, you know, I don't know what you can use, a 4-cell battery, and you can charge up your smaller like drone batteries or quadcopter batteries and stuff like that. But you can also use a power supply, which I do here, so I can show you. Charge current 0.1 to 8 amps, which is amazing. From this little size, max charge rate of max charge power, 200 watts, max discharge at 5 watts. You can balance between 0.8 of a cell, and the balancing cells 1 to 6S. There are all your battery types, everything in it, even PB, which is pretty sweet. It does have a 2.4 inch 320 by 240 IPS display, which is really bright as well. Gives you really nice viewing angles, so when you're out in the field you can see what's going on. Now before we peel off this, let's just go through. So here is our input. We can plug in your battery. For example, this one's got an XT60 connector on there, or you can use your own particular power supply. Update port. Here you have your balance port, up to 6 cell LiPos, and also your output. Now there's your fan. It's got like a flow-through kind of cooling system here. In there is an ARM 32-bit high-speed processor, and considering the size, it certainly does pack a punch. It does also have a nice shuffle wheel or rotating wheel that is metal and serves surfaces, going up and down and clicking OK. So enough of that. Let's go take off this protector. There we go. Now let's first get an XT60 battery in here, connected battery. There we go. You can see the boot up time is super quick. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Battery not connected. It isn't because I have just got an input here. So if I want to charge a battery, it'll have the values on the other side. So what I'll do, I'll get rid of this battery because this won't do as much. But what I'll do, if I'll go back and I'll get my power supply and use that to power it, and I can charge this particular battery as well because I don't have any other batteries, funny enough, with this particular connector. Okay, cooking with gas now. I've got the power supply all hooked up. Turn it on. There we go there. Really nice boot up. No battery connected. Yep. But what we'll do, let's quickly go through the menu. So push this button here. And I like this rolly wheel. We can choose what we want to do. Use charge, discharge or storage mode. So we'll leave it in charge. The battery type, we pick what we want to do. As you can see, there are all the different types of batteries we can do. We'll leave it on LiPo. The cell count, so if you have the LIHV batteries, I think you can change that up there, but we'll leave it at 4.2, which has a thumb on. The cell count, so we got up to a 6 cell, but the battery that I have here is a 4 cell, but I want to leave it on 6 and see if it automatically can see. And here we go, so we can adjust our current or our amp there. So we have a 1.3 or 1300 milliamp hour battery. If I want to do by the book, I'll leave it on 1.3, and then we can start from there. So let's plug in our battery, plug everything in. If I turn it the right way, it'll help. Here we go there, and it's got a little negative button there, as you can see, so obviously you need to line up your balance port for that. Plug it in there. And if I go, let me go back. So if I just go back here, oh, stop. Now let me see if it already automatically chooses it. So there we go there. So it's only got 4. Now if I go back to the main menu, and if I go, there we go, automatically adjust. So if I go 6, let me try. If I put Lifey battery, unplug this, plug everything back in, go back to the main menu, click back here. It doesn't change the battery type, but it certainly does change the cell count, which I guess is pretty important. So there we go. Everything is how it should be. 1.3 amps. Let's push and start. So there we go there. Gives us our amp that we're going to, so this is going to go up to 1.3 amps, and this will show how much milliamps that we've pumped into the battery. At the moment, up the top here, we have our time indicator and the amount of battery. You've got 71% battery in there, and here we have our individual cells. So 1, 2, 3, 4 at 3.87, so they are fairly close. Now if you use this scrolly wheel, nothing much on here, but we can go to this other screen which gives us all other information. Gives us the actual battery temperature, which is really cool, and how much 198 milliwatt hour we've been pumping in or charging into this battery. Now if you push the button in here, you can also change the current adjustment. You can boost it up a bit. So let's go 2. There we go. It ramps it back up. So that's pretty cool. You can change it whilst you're charging. That's interesting. And as you can see, this figure went up as well. The amount of fuel we're putting in there. I really like that. Here is the percentage. So it's up to 75%. That's really cool. This is a fantastic charger to take out onto the fields because you can get these batteries in quite large. Obviously you can get 5,000 milliamp or even 10,000 milliamp battery. You can plug it in for the input and have your output. You can be charging heaps of those smaller quadcopter batteries. Now also we have the other tasks. So we're just showing you charging. We can also discharge here, and we can just leave that as it is. The current you can go up to for discharging is maximum of 3 amps discharge. Let's just leave it on 1 for argument's sake. LiPo, cell count, yada yada. Let's go. So you can see the color is different as well for your discharging screen. Easy to read. Pretty sweet. Let's stop that. And let's go back into the main menu, and we can go to task storage mode. So this is great because with LiPos you can't leave them full, you can't leave them empty. You want to always leave them at a good cell voltage of 3.8. So if I go to start, there we go. You can see purple background for this particular mode, which is storage discharge. So there we go, 3.87 volts thereabouts. Once that brings it down to 3.8, it will stop. Nice. And there we go, gives us, now instead of adding a milliamp hour into the battery, it's taking it out. Now when the battery is charging, if you want to stop it, you just push and hold for a second or so, it'll stop. If you push and hold a little bit longer, it'll go into the system setting right there. And you can have the max input power. You can change this, which is really cool. Minimum input voltage goes down to 7 and goes all the way up. That's what it'll go all the way up to, I guess, 24 volts. So we'll leave it at 7. The backlight high, middle or low. The volume for the scroll wheel here. The completion tone repeat. Language, English, you got a fair few there to choose from. Leave it on English. Firmware and system information. Let's have a look. Basic stuff. System self-checking. Remove the battery. So let's have a look what happened there. Remove that. Settle down. Now it's got system self-checking, but you have to remove the battery. So if you just click that, it'll just do its own little self-checking. Make sure the battery's not connected. I just did that before and it went crazy on me. System check, okay, and back. Really, really nice. I think this is a fantastic little charger. Boots up really well. I'll show you the boot up again. Pull this out. Boots up really quickly. There we go. And the viewing angle is fairly good from some extreme angles. Battery not connected, so let's plug our battery in. Actually, let's try a different battery. Let's see if it just, I want to see, because you can use this, I guess, as a, see how much volt you have per cell. Let's have a look. There we go there. 2.59, 2.64. So you can always use this as a battery checker as well, or a cell checker, whatever you want to do that. I know I have a really low battery here, it's nearly dead. If I plug this guy in, yeah, wow, look at that. 3 volts, 3.2 and 2.87. So you could use it as a charger and also to check your cells for your battery. So let's check this one up again. There we go. Really cool. And let's start charging this guy again. There we go. But yeah, I might just be using this guy. I'm going to leave this at home pretty much for a lot of the time and just use this for smaller batteries because it's really, really cool. I certainly like the form factor. Get back out of there, back, push once. You can leave all this as it is. I do like how you can change the charge current when it's actually charging. There we go, pretty sweet. Now guys, if you have any questions, leave them down below. I'll leave a link for these guys down below as well in the info section. These are from BattGO. They sent me this for review, so I'm much appreciated for that. But yeah, these are great. They're not going to, maybe not charge your 15,000 milliamp hour car battery on these guys, but for a lot of these quadcopter batteries like 1300 milliamps and all that kind of stuff, this is awesome and just really compact. You can see the size. It's small. I guess it's only just over 3 inches or so by 3 inches, so it's really, really tiny and perfect for on the go, out in the field. You can get another larger battery for the input and you can charge up all your smaller ones on the fly. So yeah, like I said, any questions, please leave them down below. If you haven't, please subscribe, easy to do. Click that sub button, and also if you click the little bell button there, you get notified of updated or new videos ASAP. So thanks guys, Steve here again from RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.